What's up, guys? It's Charmian from the Hot 20, and I am with Maddie of the 1975.
Hello. So I heard you found somebody else.
So I know that you and George write every song that the band has ever put out, and you have this principle that you want to write every song. So
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about why that's so important to you?
It wouldn't really work otherwise. It's not really I'm a songwriter, that's like what I do, so it's not like I'm not a performer necessarily, or a singer, or a musician. Those are more vehicles to do my songwriting, you know? So like, I think working with other people, like writing for other people, is probably the more interesting thing that I haven't done.
Yeah.
Where seeing as I'm a songwriter, I'm a bit anxious and stuff, and I suppose that in the world that I create, I'm quite confident.
Maybe it's about taking ownership of what you do. Like when you write from start to finish, it means something more to you as well.
Yeah, I mean it's all about meaning. Do you know what I mean? I think that's why people like my music.
Mm-hmm. So taking cues from your song, Sincerity is Scary. In the world we live in today, it's so easy to dull our senses, from the internet to material goods.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is something that people need to be more honest about today?
That's a good question. No one's asked me that. I think we need to be less judgmental and less immediate. You know, I think that people need to be more honest with their own kind of self-reflection. We have this kind of culture of expecting perfection from people, both in the past, present and future, without any of us obtaining it for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So it's a kind of a glaring hypocrisy that kind of takes like really meaningful movements like Me Too, and then creates like this weird spawn of like cancel culture that comes after it, that doesn't really serve any functioning society to operate as if that. And now you've made me think about it, like we need to be a bit more honest about how intellectually consistent we're being in regards to stuff like cancelling people and stuff.
Moving on from that, you know, the term pop star is kind of like a double-edged sword. You know, you have a platform to like influence change in people, but then you also get like unwanted publicity. What do you think has been the biggest challenge for you since stepping into the limelight, with the band growing in terms of like fan base?
Just trying to be a grown-up about it.
You don't have to be.
No, but I hate it sometimes, man. Like, I just think, like, sometimes I'm just like, you know, the only thing I think, I get so much emotional engagement from people. Like, the thing in my soul that tells me what to do is, like, give that back.
Yeah.
So it's really important to me. So I really care about what people think and, you know, about my art. And I have this relationship of this is what I do, this is not who I am, do you know what I mean? So there's a removal there. It makes me scared to think what it's like being a young person, like at high school, where your way of kind of expressing yourself, or the way of your relationship with the outside world, is putting something out there and then waiting for a result, and then also not being, that would have messed me up. So
it's terrifying, honestly.
Especially for like young women, it's scary.
So, congratulations on the release of your new song, People. It's been such a trip, and I know that people have been comparing you guys to Marilyn Manson with the inspo there. We've seen a huge change in your music since songs like The Sound. So, what's changed or hasn't changed for the band over the years?
Nothing really. I mean, by the time we made our first record, we'd been a band for like 10, 11 years. We'd made a series of EPs, like we almost had this little mini greatest hits of our teens, do you know what I mean? And it was kind of like this, almost like a concept record. We wanted to make the soundtrack to an 80s movie. So when you put your debut out and it's kind of that specific, people always like draw parallels from like, where have you come from? But that wasn't our first expression by a long means, do you know what I mean? That felt like our second or third release or whatever. So I think that we've proven to people now that we don't care, and we've never really cared. And I don't mean like that to say that we're like this truly subversive band or whatever, but it's more to do with the fact that we just love making records and we hate being bored.
Yeah, and also you just want the freedom to play, do whatever you want.
Yeah, it is about playing.
Yeah.
My life is about playing, which is a difficult thing as an adult.
So is the song People like a taste of what this new album will sound like, or is it going to be completely
different? I don't think so. No, I know it's not. Like I always say, or like our songs kind of have a stylistic and a narrative start and end to each one of them that kind of their own little thing.
So Matt, what would you wake up for at 3 a.m.?
There's a beautiful Swedish word called gogota, which is like untranslatable from Swedish, and it kind of means like to get up around about that time and go out and appreciate the morning, like for the morning, because you know, of its specificity and like the light and the temperature and stuff like that.
So it's a phenomenon almost.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'd get up for anything like steeped in kind of natural beauty.
Get up
coffee.
to pee at 3 a.m. But that's a good one too. Thank you so much, Maddie. It was just such a pleasure to be sitting next to you. And
Oh,
talking to
thanks.
you.
Thank you.
And you know what? We can't wait for you to be back in Singapore again. See you soon.